Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Mining Experience. The Mining Experience is a live podcast that invites professionals from the mining industry to discuss new technologies, address challenges, and share work experiences. My name is Paulina Gallego, and I'll be your host today. I'm a mining and metallurgical engineer from the National University of Colombia, and I've been with ProMine for almost 8 months now as a technical support specialist. Here is also our co-host, Daniela. Daniela, how are you today?
Hi, Paulina. Very good. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. One more time, my name is Daniela Jaimes. I've been with ProMine for almost 7 months now as a marketing coordinator. I graduated from a bachelor in global business management and marketing, and I'm very glad to be here with you today. In today's episode, we will discuss the future of mining in terms of sustainability and technology. As the mining industry is incorporating new technologies, it is crucial to develop a strategic plan to be effective and to allow for cultural adaptation.
That's true. Thank you so much, Daniela. So today we have the honor to host a dear guest who will talk us in depth about the future of mining, Dr. Kumral. He is a professional engineer and associate professor in the Department of Mining and Materials Engineering at McGill University. He has over 20 years of experience in mining engineering research and teaching in Canada, the United Kingdom, and Turkey. He obtained his PhD from the Department of Mining and Mineral Engineering at the University of Leeds in 2000. His research focuses on surface mining, mine systems optimization, reliability and maintenance analysis, and mine risk analysis. He has held many research grants individually and in collaboration with other researchers too. Over the years, Dr. Kumral has published more over than 100 papers in peer-reviewed journals and conference proceedings. He has also supervised over 20 master's and PhD students, and he has taught several courses focusing on mineral economics, open pit mining, and mineral reliability. Welcome, Dr. Kumral. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me today. And thank you for all participants for their time and efforts to make this event. I'm happy to join, and I'm over years. I work with ProMine. ProMine is a special company for me. I have a support from them. And thank you for making this event.
We are so glad to hear that, Dr. Kumral. Yeah. So, before I start, to start, we would like to ask you first, how do mining operations change locationally on a global and national scale?
Yeah. I mean, in last 2 decades, we observed 2 different streams, the changing mining in terms of locations. One trend, and mining operation is spread all over world. I mean, become mining more and more globalized industry. Thanks to transportation technologies, I mean, the minerals can be easily exported to the other side of the world. And we observed there's a international mining companies has an operations all over world. I mean, especially the South America and Western Africa, Southeast Asia, some countries like Mongolia, Vietnam, and many Western mining corporates has an operations. That's the one interesting trend we observed. And of course, this brings a challenge for the future of mining. And one thing that we need to assume is country risk or geopolitical risk. And I mean, the country risk only the risk that the mine is located. I mean, let's assume there's one operation in Peru and operated by a Canadian company. It is not the country risk of Peru. I mean, in that case, in many mining investments, in addition to Canadian company, maybe there's a joint operation. One American company is the product maybe sold in China, and maybe for transportation they use, or for kind of consultancy they use maybe some kind of American company involved. And country risk is a combination of this. It's highly complicated. I mean, in one project there's a parties from Canada, United States, maybe Brazil, and China is the final consumer, and we need to evaluate what type of risks we undertake. That's the one important challenge for future mining. But another trend we observed, mining operation and in local level move to more and more remote areas. And especially this is important in Canada, and many mines is located now in the north. Even they go to the Arctic area. First of all, for future mining operations, it brings a challenge. It brings a challenge for environmental aspect and global warming issues and workforce, and the other aspect is extreme weather conditions. And we need to prepare ourselves, and as mining operations shift to the remote areas, and how we are going to deal with these issues, and more local and indigenous community issues, more different climate environment. I mean, in Canada, especially the extreme weather condition. Of course, this condition affect the employees' well-being, psychology, and you need a special training program for employees. And there's a lot of turnover, high turnover rate, and there's always new hiring, people resign, and you need to establish a different organizations. There's a lot of logistic issues, the weak internet, and it all brings us a new challenge. I mean, in summary, we have two different trends. One is associated with globalization. Mining is spread all over the world, and international companies has an operations, and this brings a specific country risk issue. The other one is in local level operations shift to more and more remote areas, and there's a special issues associated with weather and employee issues and global warming issue in Canada, and because mining industry is the one of the contributor of the global warming, and as we go to more Arctic area, and how we will, we need to find the more environmental friendly the mining practices, and finally local and indigenous issues, social license to operate become a hot topic in mining. It will be also in the future.
Perfect, Doctor. Thank you for your answer. Our next question would be, why do countries focus on developing critical and strategic mineral strategies?
Yeah, there's first of all, we need to identify what is the emerging technologies. We at the moment we discuss low carbon economy or green economy. Then these economies or this new trends bring us the three different. There's three different trends. One is renewables. As you know, many mining companies or investors divest from fossil fuel resources, and renewables become more and more important, like photovoltaics, wind turbines, robotics. And the second, the emerging technology is e-mobility things, batteries, traction motors, fuel cells, and those are, and it's different mineral resources. And third trends, before I forget, defense and space technologies, drones, 3D printing, and technology, new communication tools. And those are all new technologies, needs a different mineral resources. And as we see now, in the future, we will see more and more, and demands for rare earth elements, rare metals, and some base metals like copper and nickel will be more and more important. And the countries, and many countries, including Canada, and started to develop a critical and strategic mineral strategies. And the reason behind this, actually, there's one incident happened in 2010. There was a conflict between Japan and China, and with some small reason, China stopped the export the rare earth elements to Japan in 2010, and Japanese economy was paralyzed. And immediately, many countries after this incident understood that the supply criticality is a very important issue. We have a high technology industries. We make cell phone, making car, batteries, and many different things. But you need to have, you need to make sure that some raw materials supply security. How we can make sure that? And after this, and the many countries like United States, European Union, and Australia, Canada, China, Japan develop their own strategies. In Canada, we have federal and provincial level and strategic and critical mineral strategies. They identified what is the prospect for the emerging technologies in the country, then how we can make sure that this mineral will be supplied in the future. In this context, Canada, for example, Canada and Australia, as you know, is a big country. They have a significant amount of mineral resources, and they develop a strategy how we can be exporter. I mean, because the country is a huge, but the populations are relatively low and infrastructure already completed. And that's why these countries, Canada and Australia, could be exporter. United States put a more emphasis on space and military industries. They want to make sure in the future they are going to invest more maybe space industries, and they want to make sure that sufficient mineral resources is available for them, rare earth elements. But by the way, I mean, we always talk about the rare earth elements, but in fact they are not really rare. You know, rare means that their quantities in the rock is very small. I mean, maybe 0.001%. We are talking 0.001%. I mean, extremely low quantities. That's why it's rare, but it's not really rare. It's easily, not that much easily, but it's. I mean, somehow you can find and develop mine for this type of resources. And European Union put more emphasis on global warming concern, and I mean, for emerging technologies demanded by a low carbon economy, and of course we need new technologies, and we need this certain mineral resources. And every country has a different orientation. China also, they wanna continue, but they are not want to export their resources more and more anymore, and that's why all the countries try to develop their own strategies depending on their economic activities in the future.
Yes, definitely. And well, related with this, I will also like to ask you, what type of mining techniques will be like more critical in the future? What do you think about it?
There's plenty. I mean, the mining. I mean, I believe is a transformation now, and in the future we will see mining will be very different. But specifically, I mean, if I need to name some techniques. And from my side, I mean, I see that leaching and I mean hydrometallurgy in general, you know, it will be more and more important mining techniques. Biomining, I mean, there is a technique, as you know, based on using microorganisms to yield the metals from rock or mine-based. It can be also used for tailing management and mine closure aspects. And because of environmental concern, in-situ leaching, especially maybe as an alternative to open pit and underground mining. Of course, it's not the case in every type of operation, but the importance of the hydrometallurgical techniques within biomining and in-situ leaching, and I believe will be more important. Of course, I mean, all new technologies brings new challenges. I mean, in leaching, we need a lot of chemicals, especially in gold. We know cyanide, you know, which is very toxical material. But still, from perspective of green economy, I believe the methods, hydrometallurgical techniques, is one promising technique. In addition to the block caving in underground mining and using gravity characteristic, and then huge amount of material can be produced. And I believe that block caving will be another alternative, a growing method we will see. Rock fragmentation without blasting. You know, blasting is one of the important contributor to environmental impact associated with noise and dust, and there's a lot of research. Maybe in the future we will see new rock fragmentation techniques and dispatching. You know, I mean, using new sensor technologies, you know, we are able to track the equipment where they are tracked, and shovels and so on, you know, and we can collect the significant information, and we can try to more and more efficient dispatching techniques. We can develop more efficient maintenance activities, cheap and effective maintenance activities that increase the equipment availability. Also, I mean, as I mentioned, sensors and automation technologies and increase potential the use of the process control in mineral processing, especially, we are able to get a significant amount of data which allow us to detect the anomalies, faults, and outliers on latent variable in the process, and always we can optimize the system in real time and more efficient way. I mean, there might be many others, but those are the just I remember now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And there is there where the software plays like a huge paper.
Yeah.
In this kind of optimization. That's
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Of course, software technologies. Maybe I forgot. Maybe it's more relevant to ProMine. I mean, in the last decades, we witnessed a significant improvement in mining software industries, especially in open pit. I mean, underground mining also is. I mean, the softwares are growing. I mean, in recent years, but in the last 2 decades, especially in open pit, there's many companies and their tools are very efficient. I remember when I was undergrad student, there was only one software and there was only one model. It was so simple, and now it's very complicated, both optimization and design side. And I'm gladly observed that there's a significant improvement we observed in mine software industry, like ProMine is doing now.
Yes. Okay. Going forward further with the subject of green economy and sustainability, do you think the concept of sustainability evolves over time, and how does this evolution affect mining?
Yeah. I mean, of course, we all heard this the word the sustainability, but it is not we are living a dynamic world. I mean, the sustainability first time, as I remember, appears in the literature in Brundtland Commission report. I mean, it was, as I remember, meeting the needs of the future generation without compromising the ability of the incoming generation, as I remember, because we need to consider their needs. I mean, we have responsibility to future generation, then we need to be careful when we consume the mineral resources. That was the main idea behind the concept of sustainability. But over time, I mean, this definition changed. I mean, it's evolving, and as you remember, probably you saw in your course or your articles, we have 3 circles, and we try to find the balance between economy, social and environmental, and then intersection of this 3 circle was the sustainable area. And I mean, basically, we try to find the trade-off among these 3 social, environmental, and social aspects. And this definition, I mean, now by some scientists is called as a weak sustainability. And we observe, and this definition changed from weak sustainability to strong sustainability. And strong sustainability, instead of using this 3 circle in that way, there's a nested way. I mean, in the middle of the circle, okay, I have actually one slide. Maybe I can show you this one. It will be maybe easier. Okay, and are you able to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
As you see, okay, this is the weak sustainability on the left side. I mean, basically with sustainability purpose that we try to find the intersection area. I mean, as you see, it's called sustainable area, a trade-off between economy, social, and environment. But there's a shift, I mean, in the last decades, and trends from weak to strong sustainability. And idea behind this is the term of the substitutability. I mean, let me explain what I meant by this. Basically, we have 4 capitals. One, the capitals: human capital, manufactured capital, social capital, and natural capitals. What we do by mining, we produce a natural capital. We have a natural capital. By adding human intelligence, we convert the natural capital to manufacture capital. And at the end, the people who support the weak sustainability says, I mean, the mineral resources was in the nature, I mean, let's say iron ore, and basically by engineering effort, we converted iron ore to some product. It can be spoon or washing machine or car or whatever, you know, but still is in the nature. Nothing changed. And still we have the same stock. But the strong sustainability, I mean, the substitutability here is meant that natural stock, natural resources, it's basically converted to manufacturer capital, and it's substitute, you know, I mean, but strong sustainability, as you see on the right side, and they have a different concern. They said economy, as you see, is a nested circles. You saw that, an economy in the middle, in the center, and social and environment, biosphere. If biosphere somehow is not exist anymore, and what is the point to having economy on social? You know, I mean, the biosphere is those are not the equally important. They are not substitute. They are complementary. And if there is no biosphere, and you don't, I mean, there will not be economy or social. I mean, if there's no nature, there will not be life. And I mean, the human is a social creature. I mean, if you have no social relations, social organizations, and what is the point having economy? You know, and there's the hierarchy here. On the top, environment and social and economy, they are not the equally important, and that's why we need to put more emphasis on environment. And of course, this forces us to change our approach to mining, and because I mean, if as strong sustainability dominate in the society, we will observe a transition from a consumer society to maybe minimalist society. And we need to find more efficient way to reduce the waste and more efficient, more energy efficient operations. And mining in that strong sustainability case will have a additional challenge. You know, we need to put more emphasis to find way for mining less energy and more efficiency and more environmental friendly, more socially acceptable way of operations. I mean, we cannot say economy in the center and okay, the environment and social issues is the side effect. It's not the valid anymore. You know, we need to adopt these changes. I mean, if there is something happens in the world, you know, this transition from weak to strong sustainability occurs, and we need to adopt and we need to prepare ourselves in the future according to with this trend.
Yes, definitely,
you,
Dr. Kumral.
Definitely.
So, well, go ahead, Daniela.
Go ahead. Okay. No, I just wanted to say that I found really interesting the approach that you showed with the circles. Definitely, we've seen in the recent years how the weak sustainability is what people are not like looking at anymore, and they're putting in the center more the environment and what the society needs. Like when we talk about the mining industry, many times it's more about like when we talk about the society, the places where the mines are and also what the people are looking for. Just as you said, we are our societies are transforming more to a more minimalistic consumption. So yeah, I think it's very interesting what you just explained. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Daniela. So, well, I would like also to remind people that if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A button here in Zoom or also in the comment section on Facebook, and it will be answered at the end. So, Dr. Kumral, I would like to continue with the next question, and it will be, why is strategy an essential concern for a mining company, and what are the main elements of a mining strategy at the corporate level?
Okay, I mean, we changed the topic from environment, the management way, but there's another another interesting changes we observed in the last 2 decades, and I believe it will be more and more important in the future, especially the young mining engineers. We all get the training on mining engine. We learn about the drilling, blasting, and then hauling, crushing, grinding, and so on. But there's another word for mining corporates. I mean, this is what we call is an operational strategy. I mean, company. I mean, if you look at a corporate level, and they have a different strategy. And one strategy is an operational strategy. This is what I call. I mean, typically an ordinary mining engineers they spend all their career in operational strategy. But corporate level, they make the money from different ways. I mean, how mining corporates makes money. That's and to make money, they have a strategy. And of course, since they are mining companies, and then we immediately tend to think, okay, they have some mines and operates, and they make money. They sell their gold or copper or nickel. But in addition to this, there's a different way of making money in the corporate level, and those are, I mean, 3 different strategies I identified in addition to operation strategy. One is capital strategy. Okay, this company's mining company has a certain capital. I mean, there's most of them, almost all the big mining companies are listed in the stock market, and thousands and thousands people every day trade the share of the mining companies. And corporate level, a mining company should decide, should they give some dividend to their investor, or how they attract the shareholders, and how they spend their capital. It's makes so big difference. Another strategy is a commercial strategy. Commercial strategy, okay, we produce gold, and how we are gonna sell it? I mean, are we going to sell all the gold we produce in the spot market, or auction market, or other future markets? Maybe you expect the price will be high in the coming months, and why do you sell your production? I mean, your produced gold in the immediately in spot market, and maybe we need to make some kind of sale contracts to sustain certain capital. I mean, you need to diversify your production, and how we are acting spot market, how we are acting option market, how we are at a special sale contract with fixed price certain clients. And I mean, as I don't know if you see that there are some big mining operation companies also. They have ownership of some royalty and steaming companies. I mean, they, in addition to producing minerals, they also invest to develop or provide the finance to other mining operations. That's another way of making money. The other strategy, the third one, I mean, basically the fourth one, in addition to operation strategy, investment strategy. Okay, because investors always wants to see the mining company's growth, and to growth, you need to develop a new mines. And as a part of the investment strategy, do we need to develop a new mine, or we need to purchase an existing mine, or the companies should be merge? There's a different investment strategies. I mean, companies sometimes acquire or merge, or you might divide it. You might develop a new mines, and you need to find a blend of this type of decision. How many new mines will be developed, and where? What type of commodity? And are we gonna buy? Because, as you know, mining is a cyclical industry. We observe that prices ups and downs, and that maybe the purchasing a company in low price period, it will be very cheap for a mining company. You can make huge amount of money rather than producing gold. I mean, companies at strategical level have 4 different strategies to make money. One is operation strategy, capital strategy, commercial strategy, and investment strategy. And as a mining engineers, I think we need to look at, I mean, of course, in the curriculum, I mean, we are not the management school or business school, but the engineers should be aware of this aspect. And companies, mining companies in corporate level, makes money from different level of different type of activities, in addition to only producing metals.
Definitely.
Thank you. Okay, well, the next question that I would like to ask you is, what is the meaning of Industry 4.0 in mining, and how will it change the mining industry?
And that's another hot topic, probably everybody here. And I mean, I tried to give some different perspective, repeating than what you heard in the past. I mean, basically, Industry 4.0, you know, I mean, we talk about some physical, cyber physical systems like Internet of Things, you know, Internet of Things, basically, you have a smartphone and different operation of different activities in mines and generate an information and all the different source of information and collected in the smartphone or computer, whatever, you know, and this process, different information somehow is processed and extract information about process or operation. And digital twins, you know, digital twins, basically we have one physical system, like say your crusher, your grinder, your equipment, and there's another virtual system, you know, and in virtual system you can repair your equipment and you can observe the vibration and heating and so on, and it allow you to adopt the same system to physical system, and then it will be much easier to observe how operation is going on or how you can improve your operation. An automated complex system, cognitive robots, you know, and of course we will see many different changes. And in cognitive robots, I mean, at the moment, I mean, the robotics is not new, but we try to, I mean, not we, of course, I mean, all this innovation is come from not mining. I mean, this comes from mechanical or electrical engineering area or computer science, and somehow, you know, and a kind of intelligent robots maybe we will see. I'm not very familiar of this, of course. I'm just I try to understand how these changes affect the mining industry, and all these things basically as a combination of this is refers to Industry 4.0. I mean, we observed the three different revolutions in the past, three levels of industrialization, and basically in the fourth level, and we will see it increasing from mining perspective, we will see increasing flexibility, adaptability, and customization. I mean, adaptability means that we need to adapt to physical environment. I mean, as we discussed before, we try to develop more environmental friendly operations, and other than, you know, go and environment to some activities, and how we can maximize our adaptability to physical environment, such that environmental impact minimized. And customization, you know, basically when you go to a mine site, you know, once a week or twice a week, they have a drilling and blasting, you know, then after that they load and haul and it goes to crushing. I mean, let's talk about drilling and blasting site. Maybe we will see a customization means that we are not going to have a same process once a week, because we have a certain design, you know, burden, the spacing, stemming, the power ratio, and so on, you know, and every day several people goes and implements this. But the geology is heterogeneous. You know, geology always change, rock characteristic change, and we need to increase the customization. Customization means that, first of all, you need to analyze, because we have new technologies, we have a significant amount of information, and using this information, we need to develop a customized design. You know, maybe for one bench you have a one design, the next day another design. We have a constant cutoff grade. I mean, not constant, but the cutoff is typically, we don't change much, but for each bench, maybe in the short term for grade control purposes or thick limit optimization, and bench by bench, day by day, maybe we need to change the cutoff grades, operation modes, because we have a more information and we customize the operation. I don't know if I'm explaining well. The other characteristic of Industry 4.0, we try to minimize the error associated with human activities. How we can increase the safety, because most of issues in mine site, you know, safety issues associated with human factors. And again, and using new technologies, we are able to monitor the people's wellness, you know, psychological wellness, physical wellness, and how we can minimize the error causing and safety issues. And we Industry 4.0, another important characteristic is will allow us to develop and proactive instantaneous process control. I mean, you have a significant data and immediately able to identify the anomalies, faults, and outliers, and immediately you are able to take an action and correct the operation. Online optimization, I mean the real-time optimization, what I'm talking, and this will be great opportunity. And of course, the operation using this information can be speed up more quality, quantity, and higher safety. Those are the main aspects we will see associated with industry 4.0 in mineral industry.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kumral. So now talking again more or less about the mining projects, the strategies, and how they will be financed in the future. I would like to ask you, what is the specific importance of Canada in the mine finance for the future?
Yeah, I mean, in finance side, I think this is one of the biggest issue for corporate level. I mean, when you develop a mine, as you know, mining is an expensive business and it has high risk, and the financing is a difficult topic. I mean, the conventional financial institution usually doesn't provide funding for mining operation due to high risks. I mean, there's a significant technical risk and economic risk and country risk, safety risk, and so on. And for an ordinary bank, I don't think it will be wise to provide fund for a mining investment. And therefore, mining corporates actually they don't have much option. I mean, they have basically three different sources of financing. One is internal funds. Maybe the operator has their own money to develop a mine, and the other one is debt financing. I mean, you can find capital from some other sources like banks or financial institutions. The others is new equity. I mean, you go and list it in the stock markets and collect money and develop the mines. And of course, there's a hierarchy between, among them. I mean, an investor for an operator and internal funds is the best. I mean, if you have your own money, this is the best, and because you don't pay interest and so on. But the second option, debt financing, you get some money. That's the second option that you like. I mean, we prefer in mining. And third one is the stock market, listing in stock market. And this is another option. And this is widely used in Canada. As I know, in Canada, in the Toronto Stock Exchange, there are more than 1,200 mining companies are listed. They all want to collect some money to develop their projects. But basically, when you have listed in stock market, you are going to lose the control of the company. I mean, you have thousands and thousands of people is going to buy your shares, and you somehow, to some extent, at least, you are going to lose the control of your organizations. And mining in the past, I remember, I mean, the long time ago, there was a specialized finance institution we call mining homes. I mean, it does not exist anymore, but instead of this, in the last 2 decades, we saw that growing royalty and streaming companies, and royalty companies basically they sometimes they have their own mines, but sometimes they don't have mine itself, but they provide funding. They have a specialized in mining industry, and they provide funding to a promising project. And they deduct, I mean, either from revenue or either from profit, or sometimes they deduct from their metal quantity. I mean, depends on, they have a different type of agreements. That's why we call royalty or streaming. But basically, some portion of the benefit or utility created by mining operation is deducted by royalty and streaming companies. But this is in the, I mean, mining industry is always find the new way of financing. We are very special, I mean, we are not able to use the conventional financing channels in mining. But if there's something new, of course we need some kind of regulations. Maybe we need to understand what is the rules and what is the standards. That will be a new challenge, I think, in the future. And then of course we need to find, because we observe that the demand for mineral products will grow, and we need the more mines, and for new mines, and we need funds, and for funds we need to develop new financing stream. Of course, one other topics that we need to discuss, the definition of value. The nature of the investors, the stock market players, is also changing. In addition to profit or MPV, the monetary value of a project, and some investors also start looking at what is the value created. What is the extent of sustainability, how the social risk or community issues are handled, and those are all add value to a project. It is not, we are not going to look at maybe in the future only MPV. We need to look at how sustainability is dealt with, how social license to operate issues are handled, and so on. Those are all add value to a mining project.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kumral. So, well, as we are approaching at the end of this podcast, we just want to remind everyone that if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them in the Q&A button in Zoom or in the comment section of Facebook. So, Dr. Kumral, I also would like to ask you what changes now you can observe in the mining job markets.
Okay, and from engineering perspective, I think I already, whatever I talked previously, is relevant for new generation of mining engineers. Finance, sustainability, strategy, those are all important topics that we don't learn in the school, but I believe you should find the different streams, maybe graduate studies or books or some kind of seminars or whatever. You need to train yourself on these emerging aspects. And from employee perspective, in Canada especially, there's a significant rate of retirement. The miners getting older, and we need to train a new generation of miners, not engineers. There will be shortage. As I said, mining to Arctic area or remote areas, and of course this is a new challenge. How we can expect an ordinary person go and work in a desert or Arctic, and of course we need to train the people for specific weather condition, their well-being, psychological well-being, physical well-being, and will be important. And of course, the life is getting more and more complicated. In addition to knowledge on mining engineers, soft skills, professionalism, communication skills, ethics, and integrity, and those are all areas, and we need to learn, we need to train ourselves. Of course, those are dynamics. As I talk about weak and strong sustainability, life is very dynamic. Every concept is changing over time. And we need to prepare ourselves. We need to be vigilant to how we can react to these changes. Yeah, that's my answer in general. I think time is running out. Would like to be a bit quicker.
Okay. Well, we will do one last question then. We would like to ask you about how do the mining schools react to these changes in the job market, and what are the new trends and curriculums?
The one interesting observation I have in mining schools, recently some mining schools started hire some professor who has expertise on sociology and human relations, political science, as I mentioned, in the previous discussions, and so geopolitical risk, country risk, and wellness of the employees, and we have a new expertise developing. And of course, the curriculum somehow will be, they're reflected to those new emerging concepts and technologies in mining. But in terms of McGill, we have a co-op program, and this is our most important advantages. I think currently our students 3 times goes to mine site. They spend almost 1 year in the operation. They get then, because mining is very specific engineering disciplines. I mean, you need to see what is the mine site, what's happening. I mean, the life is very different from the ordinary people's life, you know. And as you see, we see the different specializing, you know, sociology, political science, and many areas. You know, you need to be aware of all these things, and we will observe that new expertise, automation, robotics, and I mean, we will see in the future the different specialized areas in mining. And I mean, maybe I can give some other the names that we need to focus on. For example, project management, safety management, and sustainability, and technology management, change management, and portfolio management, policy development, mining policy, and risk assessment, as all are important aspects. And finally, and equity and professional development is important, you know. And in mining, I'm glad to see two colleagues here, female colleagues. We need to increase the participation of the women in mining, and other the contribution of indigenous people, and invisible groups, you know, invisible minorities, LGBT people contribution to mining. And I believe we should spend some efforts to increase the equity in mining industry, because we are a bit back of these aspects, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you, Dr. Kumral.
Yeah.
So, well, we have some questions here in the Q&A button, and I would like to ask you, let me see, when we were talking about critical minerals and rare minerals, we have an anonymous question, and it's, what about the IPCC system in the Canada?
I see. Okay, one thing, I mean, for climate change aspect, I mean, in Canada, I think carbon tax is initiated in all provinces in Canada. I'm very proud of this, but the Quebec is the first. Quebec was the first, the provincial level carbon tax initiated. And these rates, I mean, at the moment, I'm not looking at the rates, but the rates is continuously increasing. And as of 2023, 24, maybe, this rate increase will be more and more. We will see, and the burden of the financial burden for mining companies will increase. This force, of course, I mean, there's a need for transition. Mining companies, mining operators should change their equipment from diesel to electrical. I mean, otherwise the duty, their carbon release, you know, the tax burden associated with this carbon emission will be higher and higher. Maybe it will be big burden. At the moment, I mean, it's still increasing, but in 5-10 years time, and that will be a big issue for companies. It force or create an incentive more mining companies to transit from diesel to electricity. Another system in Canada is a carbon and cap system. I mean, there's a kind of market, a specific market. I mean, in this market, the companies typically have a kind of license. You know, they are allowed to certain amount of carbon, and this license are tradable. I mean, there's a market. There's a new market is established, and if you need to exit, if you need to release more carbon, and you need to get a license, you know. And the license, of course, as demand increases, everything, the demand and supply, the main driver of the price of the license. And as demand increases, if you want to produce more, you have to pay. As many companies demands more license, and demand the price of the license will increase. And of course, government is regulate this licensing and or permit, and over time they increase, you know. And over years, I don't know how long it can take, but it creates a motivation for companies again shift from diesel to the electricity use, but it is not easy for mining companies. As I mentioned, mining operation on the other side, they're moving more remote areas, and there is, especially in Canada, it's a huge country. There is no electricity in some areas, and it's not easy to access to electricity to change your equipment from diesel to electricity. But we need to pay more attention on innovation. I'm sure we will find the way to switching and adapt, switching these emission issues, and also we will find the way to adapt ourselves to this transformation.
Thank you so much. And also we have other question from Ivan Dion, and it's, what will be the impact of recycling metals on the mining industry in the future?
Yeah, recycling, actually, when I look at the statistics, recycling statistics, and recycling industries are not doing well, actually, because in 90s, they have a significant support from governments. And that's why, I cannot say that they did well, in terms of innovation, and recycling amounts are not growing. It is not easy. We have two type of recycled material. One is the first scrap and second scrap. And first scrap is still you can use, let's say when you have plate, or some parts, and some part of the metal is still cut it, and then you can reuse it. This is okay. But after and second scrap, and some material is used, let's say car or washing machine, and it is not very easy to recycle this material. It's not very cheap, and also the current technologies. The material characteristics has changed over time, and recycling may not be possible. Of course, there's a significant innovation in recycling area, and we will see maybe, but I cannot say last 3 decades recycling industries are not very competitive to mineral industries. Of course, there's an exception, aluminium especially. Aluminium is a different, there's a very efficient recycling technologies, but for other metals and recycling rates are not that much growing, and many consumers still rely on mining operation. But it doesn't mean that it will happen in the future, and probably as demand increases, innovation, research and development will be more and more in recycling areas, and then we can see maybe major shifts also in the industries too.
Thank you so much again. So, well, I don't know if you would like to add something else about a different topic, or it will be so good so far.
That's great.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So
thank you so much.
It looks there is no more questions. So, well, with this, we conclude our podcast today. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Also, thank you so much, Dr. Kumral, for sharing your experiences and thoughts with us. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for everybody who joined in this activity. I hope you find something.
Oh, sorry for interrupting you. We have one last question. It's for Lorian Goma. It says, do you expect autonomous equipment, drill holes, trucks, to be widely used in the future? If so, what will be the impact on production and workforce?
Yeah, that's, of course, definitely we will see the more and more automation systems, but I don't think this transformation that will not be that much easy that we expected, because mining is a very special area. The underground, go in dark areas, the muds and the water, and these automation systems. I don't think it will be that much easy, but it doesn't mean that the autonomous systems or robotics development will not work. Definitely, we will see a significant development, but as we go into this area, we will see new challenges, and mining, especially every mine is specific. That's our biggest challenge. We are not in like a manufacturing industry. Everything the same. You have a raw material, you have a certain process, but in mine, every mine is specific, different geology, different rocks, and different depth and different stress. and so on, and how we can develop a general autonomous systems or robotic systems. It may not be easy, but I'm sure the industry will find way to deal with these issues, and this is another challenge we will see in the future.
Thank you so much. So, well, with this we conclude.
Yeah,
We already
Thank you,
conclude our
everyone.
podcast again.
yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Yeah,
Thanks to you and take care. See you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
bye.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. Bye.
Bye-bye.